What up?
And surveillance to governments. Just this year, NVIDIA sells entertainment and video gaming to consumers, and they sell weapons and surveillance to governments. Just this year, NVIDIA vastly increased its lobbying efforts by over $3 million. It spent millions with the current U.S. administration, including a $10 million donation to the White House ballroom, $1 million to the inauguration, and more. NVIDIA also partnered with the U.S. government's favorite AI military and mass surveillance software company, Palantir. That's in spite of the fact that those two companies were arguing about China just weeks before, because NVIDIA will work with anybody when the money is good.
Palantir is going to integrate NVIDIA so that we could process at the speed of light and at extraordinary scale.
If you're not familiar with Palantir, here's everything you need to know.
Our product is used on occasion to kill people.
And safe means that the other person is scared.
Palantir was co-founded by Peter Thiel, part of what's known as the PayPal mafia of the past, and he's also a multi-billionaire who thinks freedom and democracy are incompatible. Palantir's other co-founder and current CEO is Alex Karp, seen here after shoving a fork into an outlet, and his mindset appeals to angsty teenagers.
I don't think in win-lose, I think in domination.
Palantir is known for being the purveyor of mass surveillance and its corresponding fuck-ups, like its system helping law enforcement detain the wrong people based on faulty data, and enabling rogue employees to spy on co-workers. Meanwhile, the US government is relaxing AI regulations to rush through more data center construction. Recently, President Trump posted that, quote, there must be only one rulebook with some weird capitalization that seems like a one ring to rule them all thing if we are going to continue to lead in AI. We are beating all countries at this point in the race, he said, but that won't last long if we are going to have 50 states, which is it. What do you mean? What do you mean if we're gonna have 50 states? Quote continues, many of them bad actors, end quote, before later saying that, quote, you can't expect a company to get 50 approvals every time they want to do something, end quote. We can see why Jensen likes him so much, leaving no opportunity unmonetized. NVIDIA and Palantir are increasing the speed at which AI data centers are built on the US's already strained power grid, which is predicted to increase energy bills and electricity blackouts across the country. To better understand what it is Jensen Huang and NVIDIA are so excited to partner with, we're first digging into Palantir, and then later in this video, we'll go through the relationship between these two companies. GNCA still remains community funded and without embedded third-party sponsors, which means this video is brought to you by you all. This video is our first big investigative deep dive piece in the AI Dystopia series of video coverage that we're currently running a Kickstarter-style campaign for on store.gamersnexus.net. We've been shipping every backer tier with an included USB drive that we're writing with our USB duplicator.
Get on with it, brother.
First backer tier, our with the favorite table, and for making this channel
Holy hell.
based GTC keynote, where NVIDIA announced its partnership with controversial data mining and war profiteering company Palantir, whose CEO in the past has said things like this.
Bad times are very good for Palantir.
As for NVIDIA, this was their announcement.
I have a second announcement. This is the single fastest enterprise company in the world. Probably the single most important enterprise stack in the world today. Palantir Ontology.
With that announcement, NVIDIA officially went from powering first-person shooter video games to powering real-person shooters. Palantir has historically run its platforms on cloud providers like AWS and Azure, but it's now integrating NVIDIA's computing stack to bolster performance. As Jensen Huang put it,
Palantir is going to integrate NVIDIA so that we could process at the speed of light and at extraordinary scale.
In addition to NVIDIA's hardware, Palantir will adopt NVIDIA's CUDA-X libraries and Nemotron models into its AI framework. We'll start with the most obvious but most difficult question about Palantir, which is, what the fuck is it? Palantir...
Bro, what the fuck in general? I'm bored. Why is everything highlighted?
Class is about to start for these 40 school kids. Like every week, the teacher starts searching everyone's pockets. This time, he finds something on a little girl. 5 kernels of grain. The teacher snaps and commands the girl to come up front. She has to kneel down on the hard concrete floor. With a wooden stick, he strikes her on the head.
Damn.
Again, and again, and again, and again. Her classmates watch in silence. The beating goes on until the little girl collapses. Afterwards, her classmates carry her home. The
How do they
same
even
night,
find this
she
stuff out?
dies. The little girl and the other 39 children are all inmates in one of North Korea's deadliest prison camps, Camp 14.
Comparisons have been drawn to the Nazi death camps, to the Soviet Gulag. You know, they're accurate, and in their own way, they're different.
A lawless detention facility hidden in the mountains of Kaeshan, a place where people are imprisoned for the crimes of their parents. Once you end up here, you will most likely die here.
This is truly a space that is outside humanity, let me say that.
Prisoners are forced to work under inhumane conditions. The smallest mistake can cost them their lives. Escape is almost impossible. Only a handful make it out, risking everything on deadly routes. In North Korea, there are several of these death camps, and the regime has kept them a secret for decades. But through the relentless work of human rights organizations, satellite imagery, and reports from survivors, we can have a glimpse at these facilities. Why are people being sent to Camp 14? What does daily life look like inside its walls? What horrors do the inmates face? And how do people actually get out? This is the story of the most horrific prison camp in North Korea. This story is based on Escape from Camp 14 by Blaine Harden. One former prisoner of Camp 14 later changed parts of his story. Every time you see this symbol, it marks those revisions. If you want to know more about the exact changes and the reasons behind them, we recommend reading this article. Since North Korea denies the existence of these camps, independent verification is not possible. Shin Dong-hyuk is just a young boy when he witnesses the little girl being punished for having food in her pocket. Shin has no doubt she deserved it. After all, she stole food, and in Camp 14, stealing means death. He doesn't question it. He knows nothing else. The camp rules are his reality. Shin was born in Camp 14, but his parents didn't fall in love. They were assigned to each other by prison guards. Intimacy between men and women is strictly forbidden. If a woman becomes pregnant without permission, both she and the baby are shot. In Camp 14, there is only one way to have a child: promotion. Those who work hard, and more importantly, snitch on others, may be granted a reward marriage. This is how Shin Dong-hyuk and his older brother Shin Hee-gyun come into the world. But they don't grow up as a real family. Their mother never talks about the past. Shin has no clue why his parents were imprisoned, and it probably wouldn't matter anyway.
It's all about suspicion. You know, you don't have to be an anti-regime character. But if you're suspected of being anti-regime, of being a wrongdoer, a wrong thinker, of having engaged in wrong associations, they will send you to the camp.
This is Greg Scarlatoiu. He's president and CEO of HRNK, the Washington-based Committee on Human Rights in North Korea. For years, Greg and his team have been investigating human rights abuses at these camps. Like many others, Shin will most likely stay in Camp 14 for the rest of his life, even though he never committed a crime. This is the house Shin and his mother live in. Along with his mother's promotion came slightly better housing. They share it with 3 other families and sleep on the floor. There is a single light bulb in the kitchen. Electricity works for just 2 hours a day. There's no running water, no furniture, no shower, and barely enough food to survive. The building is part of a model village, one of many. Camp 14 is estimated to cover around 153 square kilometers, almost 3 times the size of Manhattan. It is secured by a 60-kilometer fence, patrol paths, barracks, guard posts, and checkpoints. The whole area stretches from river valleys to mountain peaks. The wilderness and the Taedong River act as a natural barrier, an immense obstacle course separating the facility from the outside world. Little villages are scattered across the vast area, containing housing and working units.
These are sprawling facilities. They're very large facilities. So at some of these facilities, you see farming, agriculture going on. You see some of these facilities that are adjacent to coal mines or other types of mineral exploitation.
Researching and animating topics like these take a lot of time. We worked for months on just this video with the help of more than a dozen people. And this wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is an interactive learning app and the best way to become smarter, quicker. They provide thousands of lessons in math, science, on your fucking course, and interactive. It's hands-on, efficient, QR code, which gives you unlimited road network and generates its own electricity. And it also has a school. This is where Shin goes every day. His teacher wears a guard's uniform, carries a weapon, and teaches obedience above all else. Camp rules are brutal. There are 10 of them. Even the smallest violation can lead to execution. Shin memorizes them all. Rule 1. Any witness to an attempted escape who fails to report it will be shot immediately. Rule 3. Anyone who steals or conceals any foodstuffs will be shot immediately. Rule 5. Anyone who holds or hides a fugitive's possessions, conspires with him, or fails to report him will be shot immediately. The guards enforce the rules without mercy.
내가 총을 꺼내서 뭐 쏘거나 해도
What did he say?
내가 총을 꺼내서 뭐 쏘거나 해도 한 나무 내가 총을 꺼내서 뭐 쏘거나 해도 한 나무 가책을 느끼지 않았어요. 일반적으로 우리는 그때 쏘도 나라를 지키기 위해서 내가 한 일이기 때문에 그 수용소에는 들어오게 되면 사람이 아니에요. 사람이 아니고 내 마음대로 해도 돼요. 그 안에 사람은 그 자리에서 죽이게 했으면 죽이고 살리게 했으면 살리고 하는 건 내 마음이에요. 뭐 설명해 주세요.
Across North Korea, there are different types of detention facilities. The worst of them are called Kwanliso. Camp 14 is one of them. It's also called a total control zone.
People never get out of those. You know, they just waste away. They get killed by this vicious cycle of malnutrition and forced labor.
Shin's mother has to work the rice fields, 10 to 15 hours of hard labor every day. If she meets her quota, she receives food, just enough to survive the night and make it through the next day.
North Korea is all about production targets. If you don't meet them, and probably you will not meet them, you'll get less food, more work, less food, more work, and that's how you waste away and die. That's, the truly tragic story at these camps.
From the moment Shin starts school, his life is split between the classroom and hard labor in the coal mine. Long work days are made worse by a constant gnawing hunger. Before school, Shin often eats his mother's portion while she's still out in the fields. She beats him for it, but he does it anyway. To him, she's not a source of love or care. She's a rival in the fight for every meager scrap of food. This is Shin's meal, served 3 times a day for his entire prison life.
To coal mines or other types of mineral
He
exploration.
worked for months on just this video, with the research
Go crawling.
scattered across the vast area. The wilderness. The whole area stretches from river valleys to mountain peaks. The wilderness and the Taedong River act as a natural barrier, an immense obstacle course separating the facility from the outside world. Little villages.
You see some of these facilities that are adjacent to coal mines or other types of mineral exploitation.
Researching and animating topics like these take a lot of time. We worked for months on just this video. Brilliant is an interactive anytime you science US own electricity camp rule. Shin report it will be shot immediately. Rule 3. Anyone who steals or conceals any foodstuffs will be shot immediately. Rule 5. Anyone who holds or hides a fugitive's possessions, conspires with him, or fails to report him will be shot immediately.
And in their own way, they're different.
A lawless detention facility hidden in the mountains of Kaeshan, a place where people are imprisoned for the crimes of their parents. Once you end up here, you will most likely
Can't find anything good on YouTube anymore.
Imagine if there was a drug that turned your reality into a real-life survival horror game. And over the course of the next 72 hours, you would experience horrors beyond your comprehension. Well, guess what? It exists, and there's probably some of it growing near your house right now. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Chase. Today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, Datura. There's no sponsor on the video, so like, comment, and subscribe if you want to support me in the channel. It really helps a lot. Manscaped, Raid Shadow Legends, hit my line. I really need a check. Without further ado, let's get into it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Before we get into anything else, I think it's important to explain what Datura actually is, how it works in the body, and the effects that it produces. Datura is a hallucinogen, but it belongs to a specific subcategory of hallucinogens known as deliriants. You see, most psychedelics just distort your perception of reality, even if you're seeing very vivid hallucinations. There is somewhat of an underlying comfort that you took something that made you feel this way, and ideally you're going to be back to normal in a few hours. With deliriants, there is none of that. Your perception of reality isn't just altered, it's completely destroyed. You will forget everything about yourself, who you are, what your name is, maybe even that you're human at all. Your surroundings will look completely alien to you, even if it's a place that you've been a million times before. It could even be your own house, and you won't be able to recognize it. You see, the chemical compounds in Datura bind to the acetylcholine receptors in the brain. Acetylcholine is a vital neurotransmitter that sends signals throughout your nervous system. When too many of those acetylcholine receptors get blocked, a lot of bad things start to happen. At first, your mouth's going to get really dry, and then your vision is going to begin to blur. Then your heart's going to begin to race, and because acetylcholine plays an important role in muscle control, you're going to find it very hard to move and even breathe. Eventually, you end up in full-blown delirium, where you're seeing and hearing things that aren't really there, but everything you're experiencing is completely indistinguishable from reality. This stuff can very easily kill you. Your brain is essentially firing on error mode and is one step away from shutting down completely. If you saw my DPH video, this is probably all sounding very familiar. Datura and diphenhydramine are both deliriants, and the effects they produce are extremely similar. The difference is that in Benadryl, the only anticholinergic substance is diphenhydramine. Every tablet is exactly 25 milligrams of DPH, sometimes 50 if you get the extra strength, but you know how much you're taking. With Datura, there are 3 anticholinergic compounds: scopolamine, hyoscyamine, and atropine. All 3 of these chemicals have some medical uses on their own, which aren't important. All you need to know is that all of them are anticholinergic and in high doses are deliriants, and you are flooding your body with insane doses of all 3 of them at the exact same time. Doesn't that sound like a great idea? On top of that, because Datura is a plant and not a medicine, the amount of each one of these compounds in every individual Datura plant vary greatly. Obviously, you shouldn't try to reach an altered state with Benadryl.
Looks like cabbage.
Considering that, I strongly urge you to reconsider your life and make smarter to reach an the amount of each one of these compounds in
The forbidden cabbage.
every individual Datura plant vary greatly. Obviously, you shouldn't try to reach an altered state with Benadryl either. If you're considering that, I strongly urge you to reconsider your life and make smarter decisions. But at least with DPH, you actually know how much you're taking. With Datura, it's a complete shot in the dark. You have no idea how much of these compounds you're actually
SpongeBob.
ingesting. Of course, a lethal dose of either of these is going to be different for everyone, but needless to say, overdosing and dying is much easier to do when you have no idea how much of something you're taking. Now that we know what Datura is and how it works, let's talk about some of the really fascinating ways that it was used throughout history. For the Aztecs, Datura played an important role in their ceremonies. Shaman occasionally took Datura to communicate with the spirit world and seek guidance outside of the mortal realm. Datura was also administered to people who were chosen for the Aztecs' ritualistic sacrifices, because shockingly, it is way easier to convince somebody to willingly die when they have no idea what's going on around them and can barely move. Datura also played an important role in Chumash ceremonies, but for much less morbid reasons. In their culture, adolescent-aged boys would drink a Datura brew in order to transition them into adulthood. The effects were meant to show the child glimpses of the future and communicate their purpose in life. It was an important ceremony for them, and it was seen as a rite of passage into manhood. In my opinion, the most interesting historical use of Datura comes from Europe around the 16th century. If you're a normal person, the first thing that comes to mind when you think about witches is a flying broomstick. Well, this myth didn't just come out of nowhere. You see, the witches were actually hallucinating on Datura. In 1458, a man known as Abraham the Jew published an interesting account of him meeting a witch in Austria. The witch had an ointment, and both she and Abraham proceeded to spread said ointment over their pulse points. Abraham had an incredibly vivid experience of flying through the air and visiting a place that he had been wanting to visit. Eventually, he wakes back up in this witch's house, and she tells him all about her experience of flying through the night sky. Abraham wanted to investigate this farther and asked the witch to apply the ointment only to herself and allow him to observe. And big surprise here, she actually didn't end up flying. Instead, she passed out unconscious on the floor and laid there for multiple hours. When she awoke, she told Abraham more tales about her travels. You can actually find recipes for witch's flying ointment in works published in the 16th century. To make the ointment, various ingredients are needed, but it notably mentions the use of deadly nightshade, which is usually a nickname used for belladonna, which is kind of a sister plant to Datura. But Datura is also a deadly nightshade, and it was growing in Europe in the 16th century, so they likely used either of them. And if you're wondering how they made it into an ointment, they used fat from infants, specifically unbaptized infants. Which, that's cool, I guess. Also, on the subject of history, the Far Cry franchise is essentially history at this point because they haven't released a good game in nearly 10 years. In Far Cry 3, players experience vivid visions after ingesting a sacred plant brew, and although the substance that the player ingests is never specifically named, the ritual and the experience as a whole greatly mirrors Datura. A more direct connection to Datura comes in Far Cry 5. In the game, there's a cult known as Eden's Gate, which is led by the game's antagonist, Joseph Seed. Seed and other cult members use a substance known as Bliss to convert people into joining the cult. You can find the chemical structure of Bliss written throughout various locations in the game, and the chemical structure of Bliss is the exact same as scopolamine, one of the anticholinergic compounds found in Datura. Probably the most infamous case of real-world Datura usage can be found on Reddit. In 2017, u/flipandflop made a post to r/drugs. Finally got my hands on some Datura. How much should I take? Hi guys, I finally got some Datura to try out. I'm free tomorrow and I have the house to myself, so I am really excited to try the effects of this interesting plant. I have around
Redditors,
60
man.
seeds, some dried flowers, and leaves. How much should I take for a nice first-time trip? I was thinking of crushing up some seeds and making a tea with them, drink the
A nice first-time trip. You know, the stuff that Aztec shamans used to use to speak to the gods. Nice first-time trip.
tea and smoke a couple of leaves while the tea is starting to take effect. Would 15 seeds be enough? Sources on the internet tell me a regular dose is around 10 to 20, but I've seen some talk about 30 plus seeds. Thanks guys. Despite everyone in the comments telling him that this was a horrible idea and that he should take none of it, he
Exactly
proceeded to
0.
Edit. Slowly drank the tea in half an hour. Didn't taste too bad. Not feeling much yet. I'll check back in with you guys in an hour or so. His update would be pretty indicative of how the trip was going. He would leave a comment under his own post simply writing, google.com, how normal again, stop now. And under a gif of 2 mammoths fighting in totally accurate battle simulator posted to r/gaming, he would leave the comment, please, these big dog are fighting, not okay. And that was the last anyone ever heard from u/flipandflop. What happened to him remains a mystery to this day. Some people dismiss this whole thing as a troll, others believe that he got medical help and ended up forgetting his Reddit login, and other people believe that he didn't manage to get medical help and that he is no longer with us. Now that we've talked about all that cool
Probably
stuff,
a troll.
let's read a few people's real experiences taking Datura. Datura, a true hallucinogenic. Deliriants are true hallucinogens. Datura can turn even the most experienced psychonaut into a blubbering little baby. Not something for beginners, nothing like acid or shrooms. Years ago, at the end of high school summer break, a buddy of mine boiled up some leaves and drank it as a tea. They grow everywhere up here, and we knew a field close to a trail we would bike through that had tons of them. That summer, a friend and I would bike to his place most afternoons and usually just chill in his backyard for a bit, smoke a few bowls, and just shoot the shit. We found him covered in puke, only in his underwear, and sitting on the grass having full-on coherent conversations with invisible people. He appeared to have lost touch with reality, so we got him inside and babysat him for a bit. He opened up every drawer appearing to search for something, drank a glass of water, then proceeded to smash it on the ground, turned on his shower and just stared at the running water. He would do bizarro shit like that until he eventually fell asleep, periodically waking up to talk to the invisible people. His parents were out of town for the week, so he had the house all to himself. Unfortunately, both of us had work in the AM, so we could not stay the night. He did have moments of lucidity and told us he was fine.
You see, this is friends in a nutshell for you. Hey, I see you're going through some kind of crisis that you're obviously just, you know, in a dire state. But you know what? I have work, so good luck. Meanwhile, if their bum-ass girlfriend is like, oh my god, just call out. I want to relax today. Okay. Friends, right?
And he would just sleep the trip off. The next day, he was not home. We thought he sobered up and went out. His bike was gone. Well,
At least take him to the hospital if you want to go to work that bad.
Him 3 days later. He said the trip only started to wear off after the 3rd day. It wasn't until a week he felt normal and the hallucinations completely stopped. After that trip though, he was never really the same. He used to be a really charismatic, funny, and extroverted person. He became more closed off, more serious, darker, and had a weirder sense of humor. On the surface he seemed normal, but those of us that knew him could tell something inside him changed. He hung out less, and when he did, after a few beers and a couple of joints, he would start to talk about spiritual matters, saying shit like how humanity has lost touch with our spiritual essence, and speaking of higher levels of existence. He would also go on about philosophical shit. Some of it did sound quite profound, other stuff a bit nutty. He dropped his pre-med university program, scholarship, and all. Eventually we lost touch. He traveled a bit, did an English teaching gig in Vietnam for a few years. Last I heard, he was apparently living in a small town on the west coast and co-owns a small landscaping business. Apparently he called the crypto bubble well. He was posting about Bitcoin in 2012. Still weird and posts spiritual-based content. I still creep his Facebook every once in a while and kind of wish we stayed in touch. My Datura-related post.
Yeah, because he's rich. That's the only reason he wanted to stay in touch.
I've been experimenting lightly with Datura for a while. I'd add a bit
It's not
of
a
Datura
friend
to
right there.
weed, but that was about it. I never wanted a full-on trip. I just thought it gave an interesting buzz. So I started growing the plants, and they make a ton of seeds. I started to eat 3 seeds a day. It was a nice little buzz, kind of like weed, but one thing I noticed was at the end of the month, I'd start to trip out a bit. Things would just feel really dreamy. It's hard to describe. I figured maybe all the seeds I'd taken had started adding up and hadn't left my system. So I'd stopped taking the Datura seeds for a few weeks. Rinse and repeat. Well, one day, after maybe 6 months of microdosing, I go into full-blown delirium. I remember being on the computer when something told me to Google a random string of characters. I did, and the only image that returned was a photo of the Arch Linux terminal. Note, I work in programming. That showed
Arch
exactly what I was
Linux.
playing on my iPod. Like Arch Linux terminal. Note, string of characters. I did, and the only image that returned was a photo of the Arch Linux terminal. Note. I work in programming. That showed exactly what I was playing on my iPod, like I was being monitored. It was all downhill from there. Long story shorter, a couple of trippy incidents. I thought
It showed exactly what he was playing on his iPod, like you were being monitored. iPods don't run on any kind of Linux, especially Arch Linux.
I was telepathically talking.
I work in programming. A lot of people work in programming and they don't use Arch Linux. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Then I thought I was telepathically talking to a woman who worked for the government. This went on for weeks. Then I thought it was actually an AI the whole time. I remember once closing my eyes and swinging an axe at a piece of plank in front of my foot so I could test the precision on the AI and prove it didn't want to hurt me. Yeah, I nearly chopped off my toes. I also believed there were cars following me. Yeah, I was in full-blown paranoia, except I thought they were there to help me. I stopped eating the Datura pretty early on into the hallucinations, but it took a whole year for them to wear off completely. It took just as long for me to figure out that I was having delusions and nothing from the past year had been real. I ended up being diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic after having MRIs and stuff, but I refused any meds. Half of me still not believing I was hallucinating, and the other half scared of what the effects might be from the medication. About 2 years after the whole thing happened, I was back to normal. Obviously it's hard to be sure what the hell happened there. Was it the Datura, or did I have a mental breakdown from something else? I can't say for sure. I don't take Datura anymore though, and I still smoke a lot of weed and things are back to normal. Everyone says don't take Datura. Listen to them. Truly the devil's plant. Ever since I heard of Datura from a friend at school a few years ago, I have always wanted to get a hold of some, asking dealers I know from around town. But I was never successful, as many people I asked didn't even know what it was. So after a while, I gave up hope and continued with the usual smoking grass every day, occasionally scoring some ketamine or opium to make life a little more interesting. Then last year, I finally got a chance to try the stuff. One of my friends told me he had gone to stay with his grandparents for a week and noticed a plant near their house that looked a lot like Datura. So he went over to it, and sure enough, he saw the small, spiky pods growing near the bottom of the plant. He himself didn't want to try any because he always feared any sort of hallucinogen because of the risk of a bad trip, but knew I had been wanting to try it for quite some time. So he picked one of the magical pods and wrapped it up in cellophane and brought them back for me. The bastard wouldn't hand it over unless I paid him 20 bucks, but I figured it would be well worth it. I couldn't wait to try them. First thing I did was found someone who would be a sitter for me, and that sitter was the most trustworthy friend I know. Let's call him Steve. I asked my mom if he could sleep over, and she said it was fine. So the next day, Steve
Hey,
came
I'm
over around
Steve.
noon, and I got the seeds out of the pod and counted 37. I heard it only took 10 or 15, and I wanted to have more so I could trip another time or sell them, so I decided to take 15. Me and Steve went up to my room to take them. We put on some music and sat down in my beanbag chairs. I was feeling confident that things were going to go smoothly, mostly just because Steve was there with me. He was a very responsible person who I felt very safe and secure with. Of course, I had a little butterflies in my stomach because I was taking something new, but it was mostly excitement, a total I can't wait feeling. As Steve and I talked, I decided it was time and pulled the sandwich baggie out of my pocket. I got all the seeds in my palm and looked at them, little teardrop-shaped things, darkish brown, almost black. I thought to myself, here goes nothing, and licked my palm to get all the seeds stuck to my tongue, chewed them up a bit, and swallowed. As they went down, I got this overwhelming feeling of, finally. I have finally taken this crazy Datura, and in time I will be experiencing it. All I could do now is relax, keep the best state of mind I possibly could, and wait for things to kick in. I went down to the kitchen with Steve to get a drink of water, and then I went to the bathroom. No noticeable effects. Steve suggested we play video games while we wait for it to kick in. We went back up to my room and played Mario Kart 64 and snacked on some Doritos. Eventually I started to feel different. A lot like when you need to stretch really bad, but in my whole body. Mouth is getting dry, very similar to the cotton mouth after smoking a blunt. Steve is winning the game and I am losing my grip on the controller, and I can't seem to keep the A button pushed down. After about 10 minutes, I feel much different, very intense, and I'm wondering why Steve is in my room playing video games. It reminds me that he is sleeping over to watch me because I took Datura. Right after he says this, a wave of shock and fear run down my body like goosebumps, for I had completely forgotten the reason he was there and that I had taken anything, although I do recall it. I am now, needless to say, in shock at what just happened with my brain. I look at Steve and say, calm me down, and somehow Steve knew exactly what to do. He just smiled at me in this reassuring smile and said, don't worry man, you're gonna have a blast. This made me feel incredibly better, and my mood shifted. After this, things seemed to go back to normal, and I asked Steve to stop playing video games and go downstairs with me. We go downstairs into my kitchen and I pull a full pitcher of cherry Kool-Aid from the fridge. Steve got 2 glasses, then we went back into my living room and sat down on the couch. I pour the both of us a glass and we sip it while watching TV. After I finish my glass, I pick up the pitcher and gulp it down halfway. I am very thirsty, but the drink doesn't seem to quench my thirst at all. It seems to glide over the surface of my mouth, leaving it dry still. I now just try my best to ignore it and continue watching TV. I tell Steve I'll be right back and walk to the bathroom. While I piss, I look at the picture above my toilet. It's a cartoon of a polar bear lying on its back in the water, holding a wine glass like it fell asleep from being drunk. The concept makes me want to laugh. It seems like the dumbest cartoon in the world to me, and its location is just as random as its contents. I think to myself, why the fuck do we have a picture of a drunk polar bear in our bathroom? For some reason, this seems near hysterical to me. I walk out of the bathroom and go back to the couch with Steve. As soon as I sit down, my mom walked out of the kitchen and tells us she's going to work and to behave. She'll be back around 10. Steve and I say goodbye and she leaves. Perfect. Now we have the house to ourselves. Nothing much more seems to be happening. I have finished the pitcher of Kool-Aid and gone to the bathroom 2 more times. Steve says to go to the kitchen and refill the pitcher with water in case I feel like I'm going to dehydrate. It seems like a responsible idea, so I go into the kitchen and refill it with water and put ice cubes in it. I walk back into my living room to find Steve had left, and the TV has been turned off. The entire house is dead silent. Then I hear the TV go back on, but the screen is blank, and I hear Steve saying, "Hey, I'm over here." I realize that he's calling me from out in my backyard, so I put my shoes on and go outside. At first, I scanned my backyard for him, but couldn't see him, and I couldn't hear him anymore. I suddenly get the idea that Steve had come over for a hide-and-seek game. At this point, I have absolutely no idea that I've taken anything, so I run into the yard looking around for him. Then I speak, come out, wherever you are." Right when I say this, my voice sounds very different, like a person who has gone totally insane. This starts to scare me very much, and Steve is nowhere to be found. I look way across to the other end of my yard. My yard is only about 100 foot by 200 foot area, but now it was like a soccer field size. And at the other end, I see my dog's pen, a fenced-in area in the corner with all my friends who are straight edge that stopped being friends with me when I started smoking pot. I haven't seen them in so long, so I run towards the pen. They look just as happy to see me as I am to see them, and they let me into the pen. We start talking, and to my surprise, one of them pulls out a blunt out of nowhere and sparks it. I am naturally amused but shocked. Then they start to explain to me that they came to see me because they all got into the game and don't think drugs are that bad after all. On the outside, I am pleased to hear this, but on the inside, I begin to get feelings of untrust. These bastards abandoned me years back. I don't show any unpleasant feelings on the outside, and I continue to be cheery with them, although I keep a state of mind not to trust anyone there. They pass me the blunt, and I take a super long hit and hold it super long and blow out. After it went around a few times, we all spark a cigarette to increase our high. We just keep talking and talking. It seems like time has stopped. How long can people just sit here and talk? It's been hours, I think to myself. Strangely enough, I am still puffing on the same cigarette, but don't notice anything unusual about it. Then I drop my butt, and it falls under the chair I'm sitting on. Ah, shit.
Holy shit. This is annoying. Land the plane.
Counter, and I'm on the floor. But every few moments, I kinda snap back into reality and know exactly what's going on. Then snap back into delirium and totally forget everything. Next thing I know, it's already 6:46 a.m. and I am running late. My mom tells me I only got a half hour to get ready or I'll get a Saturday detention. I scramble out of bed and run into the bathroom to take a shower. I suddenly realize how much school's gonna suck because I forgot to do my homework and I have an oral presentation due today. All these thoughts make me panic, and I know there's no way out of it because I already skipped school 3 times this year and got caught, and I can't skip another day or I will have to go to court. I get out of the shower and dry off as quickly as I can. Then I run into my room and get dressed
go
and
to
go downstairs
court?
to the kitchen. Right then, I noticed something was wrong.
Doesn't
The
make
clock
any
said 1 a.m.
sense.
and the calendar was on July. Nobody was up. My mom was asleep and had been asleep. She didn't wake me up for school. I did not have school in the summer. I wished I was dreaming, and the thoughts in my mind were on the brink of driving me insane. All I remember after this
That's
is running back up into my
crazy.
room in total panic, ready to cry and scream, and if one more weird thing happened, I was gonna off myself. I woke up in my bed with Steve on the floor watching me. He looked very concerned and asked me if I was okay now, if I was still tripping. I didn't know what to say to him because right then I could have still been tripping for all I know.
That's
It was 5 p.m. the
wild.
next day. I had a bad headache and couldn't focus on anything. My whole body was in this dreadfully uncomfortable state. It took me a while to collect my thoughts and figure out I was not tripping anymore. And I had these series of strange, realistic dreams stuck in my head from when I was asleep, but I can't for the life of me remember what they were now. I forgot them completely about 4 hours after I woke up. From Steve's point of view, in a nutshell, I had started acting weird when I had gotten the water from the kitchen. He said that he was trying to talk to me, but I would just have this blank stare like I couldn't see him. And then I ran outside into my shed in the backyard and started talking to myself. And after an hour or so, I ran out of the shed with this scared shitless look on my face and fell down, and crawled back into the house, into the bathroom, and he said I was trying to drink out of the toilet. He pulled me up and carried me into the kitchen and put me down on the floor and got me some ice. He said I was talking in my sleep and saying random words in no logical order whatsoever, but I was saying them fluently, like I knew what I was talking about. Before my mom came home, he carried me upstairs and put me to bed, and stayed up to watch me. and he said I was talking out loud and moving around like I was having some nightmares. And around midnight, I sprang out of bed and ran into the bathroom and got in the shower for an hour, and then I went back into my room and put on a shirt backwards, some boxers, but no pants, and ran downstairs and stood in the kitchen for 10 minutes, just standing there. He said then I was freaked out and ran upstairs into my room, and he said he had to push me onto my bed and hold me down until I stopped moving and eventually fell asleep. Then he did. He woke up around 10 that day, and I slept until 5. To sum it up in one word, insanity. That's what it feels like when you start to snap out of it and realize what's happening. But then you just go back into this state of total confusion, and it's enough to drive anyone crazy. Overall, I'm glad I experienced this just to know what it's like, but this is not for everyone. And I'm not saying the experience was at all pleasant. So I have no motivation to do it again anytime soon. Maybe someday years from now, just for some crazy fun. But this datura seems to be something not of this world. The hallucinations were accompanied by delirium and confusion, which made them seem real and like I wasn't really tripping. This stuff truly is made by the devil. Nightmares in flux. First of all, I would like to let you all know that this is not a party drug. This is a very powerful, very poisonous plant. It is nothing at all compared to something like acid, and yes, it can kill you in a variety of ways. I had almost total amnesia after this experience. This report is compiled of things I have remembered over the past 3 years. Kessler and I have both been diagnosed as schizophrenic in the past year. Is it coincidence, or did the datura have something to do with it? One night in early October of 2001,
Oops.
I was house sitting at my friend Cassie's house in downtown Savannah. My friend Kessler was there house sitting too. We were just sitting around smoking and drinking a little bit. Cassie and her roommates were at a rave in South Carolina. Eventually we fell asleep. The crew arrived home early the next morning. We were sitting around, passing the bong, talking and stuff. Cassie gave Kessler and I a small bag full of black seeds in a crimson liquid. I had no idea what they were, neither did Kessler. Cassie explained to us that it was Jimson weed. I still had no idea. Neither of us had ever heard of it. I was a stupid kid, so I didn't even research it. Cassie told me that it was enough to make about 5 people trip nuts. Now, Kessler and I were psychonauts, so
Trip
we thought the definition
nuts.
of tripping nuts was probably a bit different from ours.
What a way to
so
put
we just
it.
divided the seeds in half and ate them. I'd say we each had about 70 fat, juicy seeds, and we each drank the liquid, whatever that was. I had done acid, ecstasy, and a lot of other stuff before this point, but nothing could prepare me for the world that I was about to enter. I guess this would be a good place to explain something. The hallucinations from Datura stramonium are very strong. They are very bizarre, but seem natural. What I mean is, everything is very, very odd, but seems real. More real than reality, if that makes any sense to you. Kessler and I waited for about an hour or two and still weren't feeling anything. We went to the house and chilled out for a while. We were starting to get very tired. We decided to go back to Cassie's house so we could stay up. We got there and we were feeling very drunk by this time, ultra sloshed. Drunker than I have ever been, and I've been pretty drunk. I fell asleep on Cassie's couch. When I awoke, I was feeling even more drunk. I couldn't even stand up. My girlfriend at the time, Beth, drove me home. I don't remember, but she said that on the way home, I kept on taking my lighter out on the dash and trying to hit it like it was a pipe. When I arrived home, that's when it hit me really hard. I went into my bathroom and got online to check my email. Suddenly, I saw a miniature version of myself walk out of my monitor. He sat down on the computer desk and started talking to me. We had a very deep conversation about life, love, and many other things. Then he told me that I needed to go get some water. I went to the bathroom and filled a cup up with water and a bottle cap for my little friend. When I looked in the mirror, it wasn't me that I saw. It was a bloody mess. My face was mutilated beyond recognition. I started washing my face, but the more I washed, the bloodier it seemed to get. After about an hour, the blood just disappeared and I was able to recognize myself again. I went back to my room and my little friend was gone. I heard a knock at the front door as soon as I got back to my room. I went to see who it was, and when I opened the door, I was in for a surprise. I think that everyone I had ever known was there, even people I had forgotten about. This makes me think that Datura has the power to unlock forgotten memories. I let the hundreds of people in, and we all went to my room, which is strange, because I had a very small room, but everyone was there. I was talking to and catching up with everyone. People kept on disappearing and reappearing in random places in my room. People also kept dying, decaying, and eventually disappearing. I was worried, but soon forgot all about it. There was also this one guy with a Chick-fil-A cup as a head. He would keep dying, decaying, and coming back to life. I tried to kick everyone out, but I couldn't seem to get the Chick-fil-A guy to leave. Every time I tried to pick up the
Chick-fil-A
bones, he
guy.
would turn to sand. He would then be reborn from the sand. I was eventually getting really pissed off and quite freaked out. My friend Superman appeared from somewhere and helped me out. He tried to pick up the bones, and they turned to sand, so he pulled out a broom from somewhere and swept the guy out the front door. Superman came back into my room dragging a large cross. He talked to me as he proceeded to crucify himself. When he was completely hung up on the cross, he started to become very disfigured. He then exploded into ashes. I was horrified. What had happened to my friend? I gathered the ashes up in a dustpan and took them to the kitchen sink. I dumped the ashes into the sink and ran water on them. A new Superman grew right out of my sink. He thanked me for bringing him back to life and hastily left. I decided to go for a walk. I saw my car in the parking lot and it was wrecked very badly. I was upset. I went over and tried to open the door, but the whole car melted at my touch. Then I leaned up against a tree and the tree melted. I figured out that I had the power to melt things just by touching them. Then I had the idea to touch myself. I did, and nothing happened. I got very lost, and it took me hours to realize that I was just in the parking lot in front of my apartment. I wanted to go back inside, but I couldn't. I'd locked the door and already had melted the keys on accident. The power eventually went away, so I used my ID to try to break into my house. I couldn't do it. I walked away and found my keys back in their solid state. I used my keys and let myself in. I soon noticed that my ID was missing. I went to take a shower, and when I got my clothes off, I noticed that my family jewels were gone. I was freaked out, but I figured there was nothing I could do about this. I got in the shower and started to wash. When I got out of the shower and went back into my room, there was a 7-foot tall totem pole staring at me. The totem pole was my CD tower. We had a conversation, then the strangest thing happened. Time started to slow down, slower and slower, until it eventually stopped. Everything around me was suspended in time. My cat was frozen, my totem pole, who was talking to me just a minute ago, was now frozen in time with his mouth open in mid-sentence. This was very strange. Eventually time came back. Remember, it all seemed very natural at the time. Beth had come over to check on me. We were sitting there talking for hours, and as we talked, I slowly began to come down. The phone rang, and I went to pick it up. It was Beth. How was this possible? I looked over at the Beth on my bed, and she began to fade into nothing, waving at me as she went. This was the last major hallucination that I had. About my ID that had come up missing, I was so messed up on Datura that I was trying to break into the wrong house. The next day, I got a knock at the door. It was the lady who lived in apartment 703. She told me that she had found my ID in her door. I wasn't even going to try to explain. The after effects of this stuff are wicked. I couldn't see anything clearly for about a week. I also felt strange for almost a month. It was like a month-long acid trip. I was having minor hallucinations for weeks. Hopefully those stories painted a pretty good picture of the horrors that Datura can induce. I hope you found me talking about this really crazy and interesting drug entertaining. I'm really glad that other people out there have tried it so that I don't have to. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and comment because it helps me out. And if you want to see more content like this, you can subscribe because I post a new video every week. My name is Chase. This
Hey yo! The chests look like gift boxes. Well, I'll be goddamned. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? I want to make another one of those things that I've seen a tutorial for. Alright. Let me just unload everything in a chest here. I wish there was a button you could press to just unload everything. One of these days, maybe. Maybe I'll put it down here. Hey, yo. Be thundering. I have a feeling I'm gonna die when I try whatever I'm about to try. What is that? Thought it was some kind of present. Too good to be true. I'll just bring a few food with me. Won't be too sad if I lose them. Okay. Got a little something to survive here. Not a lot to lose. I will go to sleep though first. Bruh. Hey, yo, what the hell's going on down there? This is just a test. Hey, wait. Is this one of them spawners? No, I don't think it is. Oh, oh, those silverfish? Oh, are they silverfish? Those are like the best things to mine. Interesting. Gotta run by them. I'll take that. Haha. There he is. The money man. Get away from me! What's up, bro? You answer them questions? Not really, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not really. Unfortunately. What's new with you, bro? Aha. So I gotta defeat these guys. You're back on the team? Yes, sir. Nice. You got them grades up. Now you're all good. Hell yeah, dude. Damn. Your teacher helped you? Yeah. Sometimes you need a good teacher on your side, man. That's all you need. They got your back. You got any track meets coming up? Oh, whoa. Oh, hell no. I'm getting cooked. You're finna go watch a movie with your bud? Nice. All right, bro. Glad to hear you're back on the track team, man. Merry Christmas, by the way. Let me see if I could beat this guy. Let's see what we got over here. Another spawner. Oh no. Now, what if I just... Wait. Run. Oh, wow. Did I place it? I don't think so. Cooked. Wait a goddamn minute. Hmm. There's a lot of gravel. I need to get some diamonds. For the love of everything holy. That's pretty good. What song is this now? What is that? What is a tripwire hook? What the hell? What is that? Shears? What is this? What? Oh, that's right. Gravel. A bunch of bullshit. To go down here? Nah, that looks like the play right there. This looks crazy. Crazy. Let's see what this cave is all about. Looks like it's got some potential. Gotta get in there before the darkness. I'll try to get a good look at it. Ooh, we got some emeralds. Ha! Ha! Get up to those emeralds. I might need an iron pickaxe though, low key. Let me just... Huh. I know, we'll get it. Just not yet. What is that? We must get diamonds. We must. No two ways about it. And there's nothing in here. That's not this part. Not much here either. Okay. I am dying of underwhelmingness right now. That looks like it goes kind of deep. So does this. All right. Let's check this first. Nothing. To the depths. What? Am I not using arrows? Oh, there we go. Of course, he falls to the fucking oblivion. As soon as I shoot an arrow. Nothing. Alright, let me just take care of some business here. Alright, 3. What's that? Oh, he's got an enchanted bow. Huh? Stay back, damn you. Shit, 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 shit. Shit, shit. Shit. Stay back, damn you. What? Lagging? Keep your distance, damn you. I'm gonna get lost in here, I already know it. And another nothing burger. Back up, damn it. Take care of this bastard. I'm surprised he didn't sneak up on me. Now we're getting somewhere. Hell yeah. I haven't found a cave like this in a minute. All right. Okay. water. Nope, of course not. Oh, are you stuck? That sucks. Anyway. Let's go deeper. Oh, he's a quick one. And I'm lagging for some reason. Single player game right now. Lagging. Unbelievable. Oh, fight each other. Hell yeah. What? Okay. Huh? There we go, there's some deep slate. Now we're getting somewhere. It's over here though. A whole lot. God dang, this is a big one. Run, bitch, run. Oh, they fighting each other? Nice. Good stuff. Nothing down here but some bullshit. Ooh. This is crazy how there's no diamonds visible. Not a single one. Now we're getting somewhere. What? All right. Need this song. BRB. Wowzers. Keep your distance, swine. That's crazy. This is just like looping and winding every which way. Oh yeah, I see diamonds. There we go. All right, here goes nothing. That didn't work. Luckily, it wasn't that long of a fall. Jesus. There we go. Epic. Oh, I forgot to bring glass. Hopefully this reveals some diamonds. I'm not gonna hold my breath though. There we go. Hell yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love the spear. I should make a chest. Actually, I can't. Actually, just as I said that, I see wood. It's like it spawned. What are the odds of that? Back up, damn it. Oh no. Nope. Nope, you're not doing this. Dude, what? Their hitbox is so random. I just gotta run. I eat. No, of course. Oh my god, everything was so chill. Jesus Christ. Did spiders get tougher or something? They used to be so weak. What is going on? You motherfucker. Frick. Holy moly. What's up, dude? I almost had a heart attack. Things are getting crazy out here in the mines. Now you guys are done. Oh, one more. Did you hear John Cena retired or something like that? Crazy. Is the gov still following me? I don't know, probably, man. Probably. Are they not following you? Alright, this is getting nuts. Whoa. Whoa. Sheesh. What is over here? Why did I retire? I don't know, man. You see the way I be walking around, right? Hunched over. Just can't do it anymore. Oh. Oh my God. What? Where am I getting hit from now? Where did you come from, you little bastard? What the hell? Oh. This is so not chill. I need like a safe spot. Wow, man. Randy Orton's close too. I'm surprised he hasn't yet. How about you, man? Are you close to retiring? John Cena is the GOAT. It's gotta be. Who else would it be? Maybe the Big Show. That's the only one that could probably come close. Yes. Good morning to you, sir. Is it Christmas Day over there now? Merry Christmas in advance. I appreciate it, bro. Fighting off a sneeze. You gotta pay your bills. Can't retire yet. Bills, schmills. Just don't pay them. Christmas Day. Oh, you meant Randy Orton is the #1 wrestler? I don't know, bro. Debatable. What gifts did I buy? What, for people? Gift cards. Oh, there's a spawner! Block that shit off! Block that shit off, motherfucker! Get away from me. No. I ain't going out like this. Oh no, there's war coming. What do you have, a shovel? Why did he have a shovel in his hand? Hey, yo. Okay, now this should stop them from spawning. Music disc. Golden apple, golden apple. Bunch of bullshit, bunch of bullshit. Oh, I could take that thing. Debatable, everybody's got their list. Some people like Ric Flair, some like Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold. Yeah, Stone Cold is a GOAT, for sure. He is one of the wrestlers of all time. Definitely one of them of all time. As far as gifts for people, I just got I forget if I answered this or not, but I just got people a bunch of gift cards. It's a gift card type of year. Are you getting anything at all? Or is it not really a gift kind of holiday? What do we got down here? More lava. God, I gotta bring glass next time. I'm getting out of here before I lose everything. Diamonds. Not a gift kind of holiday over there. You just hang stars and cut a cake. Better than nothing. Sounds pretty chill, honestly. I hate buying people gifts. Like, I don't want gifts, and I don't want to buy people gifts. But people get me gifts, so then I feel obligated to get them gifts. It's a vicious cycle. And everybody's just buying things that they don't really need. Like, if I wanted this, I would just get it. And I'm sure they feel the same way about the thing that I get them. Alright, I'm getting the freak out of here, man. Let me see what you say. Top 3 Assassin's Creed games? That's a good question, man. Where do I even begin? Well, you gotta go number 1 is the first one. And then number 2... Oh wow, this cave is crazy. I'll go number 2, Odyssey. And number 3 would be Assassin's Creed 3. Where do I go from here? How do I get out? Odyssey's on everybody's top 3 list. You'd be surprised, man. The diehard like Assassin's Creed gamers hate it. I'll never understand it. They just want the game to stay the same forever, but it's got to evolve like any other game. Can't just make the same game every year. Look at Call of Duty. It's like failing right now. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. Origins is probably like 4. Right behind Assassin's Creed 3. That's another good one. What? Oh, that's a villager. A zombie villager. I gotta trap him or something. Get in there. Welcome to prison. You're not getting out of here. Nope, maybe I'm not getting out of here. Jesus Christ. He pulled the Uno reverse card on me. His origins like Odyssey? Yeah, a little bit. Like you could tell that's where they started with that concept of gameplay for sure. And then they really expanded on that type of concept with Odyssey. I just want to get out of here. There we go. Familiarity. Lights. Let's GTFO. Origins is like Odyssey, like diehard fans hate it. Actually, no. A lot of them say like that's the last good one. Gamers are the worst, man. They just complain about everything. Like a perfect example is the Claire Obscure Expedition 33. The guy who made the game, he's like, oh yeah, we used the AI to make some concept art for it. And now everybody hates it now. It's like, what do you guys want? Like, the game was fine before you knew that, so just chill. They can't chill. It's impossible for them to chill. Where does this go? Oh, that didn't work. Yeah, he's canceled apparently. And like, I think they're even going as far as to like give him death threats. No, I know you're joking, but it's serious. Like, look at Twitter about it. Like, people are going nuts. Aha, this is a good spot. Okay. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Where does this go? Yeah, like people put in their bio. Yeah, Twitter is just like the Wild West of the internet. It's the absolute Wild West. Like, in a way I like it, but in a way it's like, you know, what if you're ever on the receiving end of some crazy shit, then it may not feel so nice. You gotta add your back. Alright. And there's water up here too. Son of a bee. Oh no. Oh no. Go back down. Go back down. Go back down. Holy shit. I almost just drowned. That was crazy. Twitter and Insta are becoming crazy? Yeah, Insta's I think Instagram is like quietly, they've taken notice of how Twitter is, and they're like, let's make it just like that, but quietly. And it really is pretty wild. I mean, I like it because the memes are really funny. They're just wild and funny. But yeah, then there's that side of it where it's like, then racists are getting crazy. Alright. Where the freak? People don't have a filter anymore. No, they don't. They surely don't. Back up, you freak. That was a pretty big explosion. Jesus. I might finally be on my way out of here. Let's see. Yes, I am. Alright, thanks for the lurk, bro. Is this where it came in at, or was it the other side? I think it is. Oh, almost fell. We made it. Wow. I don't know how I pulled that off. Escaped death quite a few times. Where am I even keeping diamonds? I guess here. What the freak is that thing doing there? It's going to destroy everything I've built. Thank God. As unlucky as that was, I'm lucky he spawned there. Gotta go. All right, bro. Have a Merry Christmas. Appreciate you hanging out. See you next time. No problem, bro. What the hell are you doing in here, boy? Yeah, I'm actually gonna head out. Catch everybody later.